It's not morning. Good afternoon. All right. Well, let's get started. So let's see what's on my list. I've got remove extra UI bids. Yeah, okay. That's probably a good place to start. Alright, so these are going to be in the mission selection screen. Mission selection. Alright, so mission selection, where are you? Alright, so that'll disable a few of those things. Let me just make sure I didn't screw up the stuff. Alright, we got new UI stuff here, so let's take a look. It was what, the thumbnails? Looks like not much work has been done on the thumbnails. So what was done yesterday? Mission thumbs, mission selection polish, ball control, so we updated those for mission selection screen has been updated. So it looks like the mission selection screen is broken. Alright, so I'll take some notes. Let's see. Notes, mission selection is broken. I mean, I could just fix it. It's probably what I should do. Basically, when this goes too small, these things are screwed up. So let's see. The problem is that things are too wide, so it looks like the mission item tier is too wide. So if we take down the margin to 1.5, I don't even know why this has a margin, right? Just to make it float a little bit. Basically, it has to do with that guy. Yeah, you can see the leaves are disappearing too, so it's a larger problem. All right, well, let's pull that up. Mission selection screen. Look into the stream where I just bitch about Adam all the time. Alright, so we'll take that out, get that. So, mission selection stream. I need to change that style so it's not messed up. Mission selection is... Alphabets are hard, people. So I think the problem is this has a percent as opposed to a VMin or something like that, and that's why it's going to be screwed up. Let's take a look. I think it has to be a VMin for it to work properly. If we change this to 22 VMin, what does that look like? Yeah, it's this 100% minus 2 VMin. So let's see. Overflow clip? Overflow hidden, perhaps? The overflow hidden will prevent it from breaking absolutely everything. Alright, so the big guy is this, mission cat header name? Why does this even have a margin left? Like, alright, well that will at least hide all the things that are screwed up when they are too small to be seen. Alright, so that'll fix that. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is look into the overrides. Actually, I can go ahead and... There was a request for support for camera overrides, so I'm going to need to add that. So missions should be able to override the camera and snag a different type of camera to view the level with. I think we'll put that on the stage, so the stage will have a specific camera. So let's add missions. Let's see, stages should include camera overrides, and pre-stage screen should reset bots. Pre-stage screen should reset the player position. Alright, so we got color scheme right here, and we're going to add camera. We're also going to need enums for this. Alright, so this will just be camera type. Alright, cool. So I'll add all that. Where is the color scheme? There it is. Alright. So I'll add those. Pre-stage reset player position. Yeah, okay. Now the other thing is I'll need to do some update 7 prep. Get the emails set up, things like that. It's amazing how many bots there are that post on forums that are trolls. It's just astounding. Astounding to tell you. And my eyes are dry today. What is that about? It's awful. No. So we're gonna need a camera type dictionary, and we're gonna want to move the camera types into a reasonable location. God, it's pretty much that we want the entire everything. I mean, it's basically a data driving um, what we could be just setting in code, which is fine. The whole point of the mission system is to have a data driven sort of approach without having to do like U assets or something else for everything. It's working out pretty well so far. Alright, so we want like a camera, mighty perspective camera, so we need a blueprint. Function library. So this will be, what do we call it for colors? Like color law? Color library. This is library. Alright, this is going to be get camera data for type. Alright, this guy is going to take a camera type. So let's add a return value, which is going to be a camera data asset. What are these? I like how it just doesn't even fucking tell me. It's just a generic asset. Right. So what is the standard in perspective cameras? 45, 1, 2, negative 2, 5, 0, 20,000, 200, 1.2. So the perspective is different than the standard camera. Very slightly. Well, which camera do we actually use? Perspective player. So we don't even use these. Bitey perspective camera. Bitey player proxy. Do we use anything else? Kind of a mess, isn't it? The hell is center camera? Like center camera means nothing. God. What is this angry about? I had the wrong enum. Glad I have type checking. Fucking autocomplete, man. It's like, hey, you just typed out a word, let me replace it. Be like, no, no, no. Please do not fuck with my typing. Alright, so we're adding the player type to this thing as well as the enum for the test camera. Alright. So get this built. trying to get organized. Everything takes time. Even waiting. Oh, Centicron, this is going well. Just adding in more options for stages such as the camera type and the entity type. Adam was wanting to make some stages where he disabled everything on the player pretty much, so he'd have a more zoomed in camera. We'll see. We haven't even gotten a chance to talk about missions and what we're actually making for next week, so it's a bit unorganized at the moment. Which I could be doing. I could be making a list of mission types. Or mission archetype types. So what sort of things? I should make a document for this. Alright, let's see. Removing features also zooms in the camera. No, he wants to. Let me see. General basic shapes. Let's see. Basically, it has to do with if you have a tutorial mission where you don't have the player dashing, you don't need to have the camera zoomed out nearly as much. So I think Adam wants to experiment with making missions that are more tutorial kind of missions and have different sorts of cameras, things like that, so that, I don't know. Basically, as soon as you give anybody any tools for designing something, they just immediately want more tools instead of using the tools they actually have. That's just kind of how things work as an engineer. And eventually you just tell people to suck it up and use whatever the hell they have, and then they have no choice because you're the one who has to, you're the only one who can actually do anything about it, so they have to kind of do what you say. And I really don't like the idea of tutorial missions. Like, I hate the concept of tutorials. Because, I don't know, I'm kind of on the side of, if your game is so difficult that somebody has to go through a huge-ass tutorial to play it, you've made the wrong game. You know, do you need a tutorial for Mario? You know, run to the right and jump. You can't run to the left. There you go. You know, they added running to the left later. Let me see what we got. Yeah, that's part of it. I don't know. I don't like the idea of taking away all the abilities that the player has and making them like slowly introducing like, oh well, now you can run and jump, now you can crawl, and you're just like, well, why do we have a crawling tutorial mission? Well, because you can crawl in the game. You're like, why do we need to tell people you can crawl? You know, like you can get through the whole game without crawling. You know, so why do we have a tutorial mission on crawling? I don't know. I'm more on the side of just what ends up happening is you end up making tutorial missions to explain game concepts which don't really matter except to have a tutorial. So it'll be, oh, well, you can wall jump. And be like, all right, cool. So we have all these wall jumping tutorial missions. You'd be like, all right, cool. And then you say something like, I think we should take out wall jumping. And somebody's like, but we have all these tutorial missions on it. It's just like, oh, okay. I guess we won't take it out since we did all that work. It's like, right. Let me open up we have a doc on the actual mission design specs. Let me see what we've got on there right now. Because we try to write out some of these design specs, but it doesn't really work all that well after a while. Let's see. New systems, object collection, obstacles that can fail the mission, obstacle list, ball cannot touch ground. Alright, so a physics material type that destroys the ball. fucking option sets. There are no fucking option sets. Yeah, it's kind of the difference between how I would design something. So let's say that you wanted a level, you wanted a mission where the user has to use the pop-up move to pop up the ball, and then the spike, the punch to punch something into a goal. Well, there's two ways to accomplish that in my mind. One is to force the player to do it. So you have a standard goal, and you just be like, well, you can't pop up the ball into the goal. The last hit has to be a punch. Like, fine, okay, we'll do it that way. But then somebody figures out that they can stand on the other side of the little hilly knoll and hit the punch button, and you don't have to actually pop up and do the punch in the air, or some other shit. Or you can just be like, well, this goal, the easiest way to do it is to pop the ball up and then do a spike, and there's literally no other way that you can get the ball in here, and if you do, good job. Such as, if you had a level that was just where the goal was, this is a wall, and it's too big for the player, and the goal is over here, like, there's no way in hell you're going to get a pop-up very easily that, gets in here. Especially if you have, like, some sort of spikes or something. So the ball isn't going to, you could just do it even without special stuff, just by having something like that. And it's like, yeah, the obvious solution is you've got to get the ball right here and smack the shit out of it straight in, So instead of taking all the players' abilities away from them and forcing them to solve a problem using the way you want them to solve it, just set up an environment where what you would expect the easiest solution to be is, popping the ball up and then hitting it in. And if players figure out a different way to do it, that's not bad. That's not a failure case. That's fucking fine. Alright, so we want default camera for all three of these. And we've got the close camera. We've got the far away camera, and we've got the test camera. I just like to complain about shit. Alright, so what are these entities? We have characters, Bitey, we've got the entity here. Entity proxy. I guess it's the Dashkin entity. Alright, so we've exported those. So I need the camera type to be used inside of the arena level. So let's take a look at that arena level. Let me think. We've got the server set pre-stage. Alright, so I need a new mission function here. So this is going to be set up options for stage. It's kind of a mess.